Hey, welcome to TAN TV, the African American Network. We have a local feel with a global reach. You're about to watch Out of Bounds with me and the Noops. T-Rex. We got Lonnell, which is Duck. We just messing with.
Hey,
Don't
what's
worry
up,
about it.
people?
And we got Big Henry on there. So
What's up, yo? What's up?
We'll get it going. But before we start, I just want to give a shout out real quick to a couple of organizations. I want to give a shout out to all the all the military personnel that passed away. This is Memorial Day weekend. We're supposed to be honoring them, and I want to honor them. And I also want to honor a couple more things. I'm not going to go in depth unless somebody asks a question. I like to honor go as far back as the Buffalo Soldiers and honor them gentlemen. I like to honor the Moffett Point Marines. If you don't know anything about the Moffett Point Marines, they were the first. They're the first Marine all-black regiment, just like the Buffalo Soldiers. And I also would like to honor the Tuskegee Airmen. And so, with that being said, if you got any questions, I got answers on those people. If you want to know, we'll get right into it. But if not, we're going to start the show.
Hey,
good
Terry,
evening, fellas. How y'all doing today?
Terry, before we get started, my guy, if you would permit me, since you gave the shout out to those Terry guys, man.
Oh, okay.
And so humbly, I really appreciate that. I would like to keep it a little bit to the home front from me. I would like to say shout out to the 761st Tank Battalion, which my dad served in World War II.
Okay.
They had the patch with the Black Panther on it, and their theme was "Come Out Fighting." So shout out to the 761st Tank Battalion, man. So big ups to those guys.
Duck, you got a shout out for him. If not, I can hook you up with a whole bunch.
No, I got my godson. You know, he's active.
Okay.
So I think it's Captain Robert A. Joe from the 332nd Air Division.
All right. Well, what's up there,
Robert Joe?
Captain, how you doing today? I see you here. Congratulations. Well, since we're giving congratulations, I'm retired Navy. Junior was in the Navy. I have a ton of people, family, that was in the Navy, and I also have someone in the Moffett Point Marines. I'll leave it at that. That was one of the actual Moffett Point Marines, and my stepdad and my dad both served joined me. So my brother, my middle brother, and myself. So I love servicemen. I'm sorry, Robert, Lieutenant Colonel. Excuse me, brother. Congratulations. I like seeing that, man. I really like seeing that.
That's my godson.
Is he a Nuke?
Yes.
That's even better. That's even better. He's
Theta Beta alternate, but he's Alpha Theta.
Okay. Well, congratulations. Robert, you got anything else you want us to say, man? We listen to. Okay, smiley face. If you got a question, man, chime in and let us know. We'll answer it for you. So let's get off with some of the sports, man. I know you guys been talking about Trailblazing Athletes. Alpha Theta, none greater. Oh, he on you, Duck. He working you, bro. He working you.
Wait now. We gonna correct that Alpha Theta non greater, brother. It's Theta Beta non greater, stroller, hater, nuke, maker, women manipulator, and we all do it. So let's get your the godson straight, baby. Come recognize you don't want this smoke, bro. One love, dude. One
love. Well, thank you, Miss Laura. We are all glad to serve this country. And there's no other greater country. And I want to say one thing before we start, just to try to clear up something. Everybody pays taxes. That doesn't make you an American to pay taxes. Being born here or having citizenship makes you an American. Paying taxes is just something that we all do. Unemployed, illegal alien, everybody pays some type of tax for America. So fellas, don't be rounding up, dogging out people because you pay taxes. They do too. With that being said, much deference. Thank you. You still a baby. That's all right there, Lieutenant Colonel. You still a baby in the fraternity. Let's talk about sports. Henry goes through right there. Let's talk about sports real quick. Let's start with God, the Godfather himself up there. What you got for us, Mr. Lonnell?
You know, as to getting started in the Trailblazers, you know, I had to sit and think about that for a moment, and I put out a list of who should be on my list in what sport. So I had to write down some sports, and first and foremost, I went to boxing.
Okay.
So I got Muhammad Ali.
Okay.
The great
Trailblazer. And I know that there's boxers before Muhammad, but there was none like Muhammad. And he is, to me, one of the greatest, or actually the greatest of all times. But, you know, without your Jackie Robinsons and all of them, I guess there'd be no Muhammad Ali. But what he stood for, the trailblazer that he stood for, was the dignity of being a black man in that wartime. He stood up for what his beliefs was. So that's one thing I think that this show is going to actually represent, how people had to stand up for not just themselves, but for the people that they also represented and the beliefs that we have.
Okay, that's you never can argue with Muhammad Ali. There's no doubt about it. But you got Big Hank.
Oh man,
Big Hank, the Mike.
I'm finna hit you guys hard right now, man. I'm gonna hit you with the hammer. So I'm gonna go back to basketball, okay? And I'm probably gonna bring out a name that probably none of you guys heard of, okay? So I'm reaching out to LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, though, and countless other basketball stars owe their careers to this young man, and his name was Nathaniel Clifton. They called him Nate Sweetwater Clifton. Nate was the first black man to sign an NBA contract. However, Chuck Cooper was the first black player to be drafted into the league, and Earl Lloyd, was the first black to actually play in the NBA. But Sweetwater had an 8-year career in the NBA and also briefly played baseball professionally in the Negro Leagues. The New York Knicks named an award after Sweetwater and called it the Sweetwater Clifton City Spirit Award in his honor. The award was given to those who epitomized the same trailblazing characteristics that Clifton did during his time. Now, check this out. We talk about how old LeBron is and his age. In 1957, Clifton became the oldest man at age 34 to be named to an NBA All-Star team, man. And you look at Kobe, you look at Mike, you look at LeBron. This guy, man, Sweetwater opened the door for those guys, man. So there it is, man. I'm
gonna go farther back than that.
I'm on fire on this subject because I got a ton of guys that we can talk about.
Yeah, I got a ton to
I'll bet out.
I'm gonna give my first one out. I give my first one out. I'm gonna call out Jesse Owens.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
If you don't know about Jesse, I'm gonna tell you right now. Jesse was Ohio State. He was poor, became a Ohio State athlete. Won 4 gold medals over there, and at the time it was Nazi Germany, and he won so big that Adolf Hitler left. Didn't want to even see him. Didn't want to shake his hands. You know, they made a big deal about Jesse Owens not getting his hand shook by Hitler, and unfortunately, people should have looked a little deeper into that, because when Jesse came home and all the other gold medal winners was invited to the White House, guess who wasn't invited? Yes. Jesse Owens was not invited to the White House. So before America started throwing shade on Nazi Germany, you need to look, because I always say, if you got one finger pointing away, you got 3 pointing back at yourself, America. You need to check yourself sometime before you start hollering about other people. All right, we'll go back to you, Doug. Who you got next? We got some people.
Okay, we got plenty. We got plenty. Here go. I'm gonna stick with some basketball, but this is one that I kind of like. I kind of like modern day. So Michael Jordan. Let's look at Michael Jordan for a minute. On this is going to be a positive and a negative. Michael, during the time being from, where was he? North Carolina. He's from North Carolina. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I remember in North Carolina there was this black man named Haynes. I think it was Haney. He was running Haynes. He was running for U.S. Senate against Jesse Helms. And Michael at the time told his mother, I cannot endorse him verbally, but I can make donations to his campaign. So he had the opportunity and chose not to. So is that a good thing or a bad thing? When you have the opportunity and choose not to. So I can't give him the props as being that GOAT other than in basketball, because when you want to sit him at the table, you can't sit him at the same table with Bill Russell. So that's my guy, is Bill Russell.
We'll get right with you there, Lieutenant Colonel. We got one to you. Go ahead, Big Henry.
Okay, now behind every great man, there's a great woman. Okay.
Okay.
So if we're gonna hit the tennis avenue right now with Miss the Queen, Althea Gibson. Althea Gibson broke remarkable barriers. In 1956, she became the first Black woman to win the Grand Slam, the French Championships, which it was called back then. Now it's known as the French Open. And 8 years later, she became the first Black woman to join the Ladies Professional Golf Association, LPGA, despite facing an incredible amount of discrimination and prejudices. She preserved and became a global icon. There was a ticker tape parade in her honor in New York City in 1957, and she had the distinct distinction of becoming or being the first Black woman to appear on the cover of Sports Illustrated magazine, and Time Gibson paved the way for countless athletes during this decade to follow, man. But Althea Gibson, a true queen in tennis, man, absolutely. A lot of the guys and women today owe their futures, owe their beings to Althea Gibson for opening the doors.
Very, very true. Very true. Before I go any farther, I have to go back to Lieutenant Tutu Russell when he brought up Tommy Jones and John Carlos back in the '68 Olympics when they put the fist up in the world, and America treated them real bad when they came home because they were really the first, to my knowledge, to use their platform publicly as a platform to use against injustice and racism and things of that nature. And America turned their back on them, took their gold and bronze medal, and kicked them home. And when they got home, treated them like dirt. It wasn't until I think later on in their life that I think it was Obama, but I'm not for sure. Well, the president that actually gave them their gold medal back and said, "Hey, you did a good job." So that's it. So, Duck, we're going to go back to you. Then let me take a station break real quick, Duck. Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to TAN TV, the African American Network. We have a local feel of global reach. And go ahead there, Mr. Lonnell. Talk to us.
Okay. I see Spicer Grace joining us.
Yeah.
Hey, Spicer. So let's go and pay some respects to football.
Okay.
And pay honor to the great one and only running back, number 32 for the Cleveland Browns, records. Jim Brown.
Rest in peace, brother. Rest in peace.
That had to be special. Jim Brown playing for Cleveland Browns. You know, that's
and owned by a Brown.
That's right. And owned by the Browns. And now he owned the records. So, you know, without any doubt, you know, Jim Brown as a football player, the greatest. But as an activist, he sat at that table. We've already mentioned Bill Russell. There's Jim Brown. He sat at the table with Muhammad Ali. And they had to speak out. And I think it was one other. And that was Kareem Jabbar. I think they all met up and they sat at that table. And it's good to know when people come together, they got one voice, but they had one goal. And that's to make sure that we have what we have. So my hats off. Rest in peace, Jim Brown. I got to give me a Brown jersey, though. I got to give me a 32 or a number 32 to wear.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Big Bank. It's on you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm gonna stay with the feel of well, no. Since Doug went to football, well, I'm gonna do basketball. I'm gonna do another basketball person. You know, a lot of people admire Colin Kaepernick of what he had done by taking a knee and being strong in his convictions. But before Colin Kaepernick, there was a young man that played at LSU with Shaquille O'Neal by the name of Chris Jackson. Chris Jackson later changed his name to Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, and he would not stand. He would not stand for the national anthem at all before Colin did. He would sit down during the national anthem, and people asked him why. He said because of the disparities that are going on in the United States of America. You know, we're not treated as equals here. And man, this is in the 80s, you know what I'm saying, when Mahmoud Rauf was making his stand. As a result, he played in the NBA, but he was eventually blackballed. And he has a show now. I don't know the name of the show out, and hopefully the producer can research it and find out before we go off the air today about Chris Jackson. I would love for you people.
All right, can you hear us? I can't hear Henry. Duck, do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Henry blanked out for a minute. Producer, can you get on that? We'll come right back to you, Henry. We're gonna jump out, and I'm gonna holler out real quick to Brandon Marshall, not the one that's our frat brother, but the one that stood up first in the NFL to talk about mental health. That young man put himself on the line, talked about himself, how he bettered himself, and right now he's touring the country, talking about mental health. And I think anybody that can talk about mental health, including yours truly, myself, is outstanding, because mental health, especially in men, I'm not just say black men, but in men, period, we think we're strong and we don't want to, think that we have mental issues. But I want to thank him for making it a bold statement as a young man in the NFL. So go back to you, Henry. Go ahead and finish. You back on. It say something? I think, did you hit mute? You might have to come out and come all the way back in. And that is true. That is true, Robert. May is mental health. I didn't want to put that out, but thanks for reminding me. And hey, yo, I'm glad you did. So, Duck, well, who else you got till Henry comes back? Because I got a few I could talk about.
Okay, a gymnast. Okay. I'm going to throw this gymnast out there, but, because I know it was somebody right before her, because I remember, we used to sit and watch one TV as a family in the house. Mm-hmm. And on that one TV, when the Olympics came on and it was gymnastics, people thought, what are they getting ready to do? So when we saw this one little pint-sized little lady doing a routine that was unbelievable, Simone Biles. Mm-hmm. So what is that? That is a trailblazer. But she's the one who brought up for now in that particular field the mental health issues when they're stressed, because we had so many athletes that was actually not understanding their full capacity and not wanting to show the world that, I'm being stressed out. I can't handle what's going on right now. I got some other things going on. So they looked upon as far as their crafts. They're honing their crafts, but they're saying, hold it, I'm not going to do this because, right now I got something else to do. So backing off is a good thing, knowing that you're the best in what you do. Sometimes you have to take care of self. So shout out to those who's brave enough, strong enough, willing enough to step down instead of stepping up. But that's what I call it. They're really stepping up. They're not stepping down.
Hey,
it ain't no shade on their game. They know how good they are, and they proved it over and over and time and time again.
That is true.
So respect to those athletes.
Good. Let's try it again, Henry. You there?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, we got you.
Okay, good. Yeah, I don't know what had happened there, man. But I think I'd said everything about Chris Jackson, Magul Rauf, Abdul. So, but just he's a pioneer. He set the waves there, man. And a lot of people may think that Colin Kaepernick was the first person to sit out, but no, it was Chris Jackson, man. So.
Chris, that's true.
Mahmoud Abdul Rauf.
Do you remember what he was he doing the same thing, police brutality, or was he doing something else?
It was just a total racism act that he was against. Coach Brown, I think was the coach at LSU at the time, was giving him books to read on self-awareness and so forth. And he would say, man, why are you giving me this information to read? And he started reading it. And the more he did, he incorporated that in his life, man. And he saw how the African-American race was treated indifferent. And he wanted to make a stand against it. And he did. He played the price of being blackballed by the NBA in order to do that, but he stood strong in his convictions,
So before we go any farther on that, I got a question to ask you guys. I really do.
Sir.
Why, when a black athlete, because it's normally black athlete, or could be, I don't watch soccer and all that, so it could be people of color, athletes of color, make a statement, it's not a big deal. People tell you like they told LeBron, shut up and dribble the ball. They also blackball Colin Kaepernick, our frat brother. So my question to you is, why do you think the media would do that? Just come out and say that, all the horrible things about you that not even true. And not even that if you gave an interview before that. So my question is, why is, ask somebody, help me out, help me understand.
Duck, I'll let you go first, my brother, before I answer.
Well, give me some clarity on what your question is again.
Well, I just want to know, what do you think about why the news media and American public, I should say, and also the American government has a big problem with athletes, black athletes, using a platform for injustice, social injustice?
Well, off of what my belief is that sometimes they try to divide and separate.
True.
The black media, their goal is to make sure that the story gets out. Instead, they think that there's some type of underlining scheme to address what the motive is, and they don't want to lose that power. Because
very true, Robert.
Yes, once we have power, I think the black people know, we're getting paid, but the media is saying, shut up and play basketball. Shut up and just run the football. or do what we're doing as far as control, or as my godson says, the book that has the $40 million slave. We pay our athletes, and they say to silence them is to take them off TV or to hit them in the pocket. John Morant, everybody knows that he's one of the best up and coming, but now they're looking for the negative things that's going on with him, and that's something that unfortunate. We got to be twice as good. We got to be twice as careful. We got to be, twice as much, because they know they're coming. We know they're coming.
That is true. All right, Henry, what do you got for us?
Well, I'm gonna say this, man. You look at athletes like Shaquille O'Neal and the young man for Boston right now,
Which one?
Tatum.
Tatum, yeah,
Tatum,
outstanding player.
Tatum has not cashed an NBA check yet.
Yeah,
and Shaquille O'Neal, those guys are living out of their endorsements.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're looking at these. Just think if the NBA and football is primarily dominated by African American athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if just imagine the wealth that could be had if everybody did that. You know what I'm saying? Because you can live out of now granted the 99th player drafted, he won't be able to do that, but the major athletes to do that would be amazing, man. So I think it's fear.
Well, I know it's fear.
And permit me to explain what I'm saying here. And you don't have to agree with it, and this is just my opinion. Okay. Look at Deion Sanders when he was at Jackson State. Okay. He says, man, we got to get these athletes to come home. We got to get them to come home, come back to the HBCUs and build on that HBCU experience. Right. Back in the day when I was in college, at Kentucky, they said, man, what would happen if Sam Bowie and I don't know if it was Evan Turpin or whatever, all went to an HBCU school. Those athletes back then, what would happen if they went to Alcorn? And the coach at Alcorn at that time stated, I can go to Indiana and do just as well as Bobby Knight at Indiana. But can Bobby Knight come to Alcorn and win a SWAC championship at Alcorn? Can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Just because of who he is and what he's representing at that time at a predominantly Black institution or an HBCU college, man. So I think it's fear, man. To answer your question, my brother, I think it's fear.
It was a real question. I helped you guys out. You got two people that both play professional football, both take a knee. For whatever reason it may be, one is Black, one is white. Whatever the Black guy says is wrong, but the white guy is praised. And that white guy is Tim Tebow. Have nothing against what Tebow did, but Tebow took a knee all the time in that anthem. And nothing was said. Not a thing. I said last week, and I'm going to reintegrate this one more time, because everybody thinks that because I don't care what people think. Last week I said that I asked a question on racism, and I don't think it's an individual. I don't even think it's a group of people. I think it's the government allowing it to happen, and I think it's the media showing it. And it's the same as in sports and everything else. You always have great athletes. I mean, I think the best quote I ever heard, we was talking about the other day, Larry Bird was kind of upset that they had a white guy covering him, and he told the coach of the team, man, got to put a brother on me. This ain't no game. So I'm not taking anything away from the color of a person. I mean, I know we got the neo-Nazis and all that crap out there, and that's their belief. But I still believe that if the government would hold them accountable as they did the Black Panthers, then we wouldn't have all these other problems. But I just think that when you take a knee, you're right, Robert. Robert, you're right. I'm not saying that they knew it was disrespectful. That they didn't even guessed. They didn't even know what he was doing. They just said it was, disrespectful. But I think the government and the people are doing that. So, y'all got any more athletes before I ask another question?
Hey, I do, my brother. I do, and I don't mean to jump in and dominate the thing, but man, this is right up my alley, dude. One other guy that I want to point out, man, is Pele.
Oh yeah.
The greatest soccer player of all time. Pele! You talk about these guys now. You got to realize that Pele played for Santos at the age of 15 years old, man. 15 years old, and for Brazil national team at the age of 16. So I just want to say major shout outs to Pele, because he showed that you can take a sport that doesn't take much money at all. All you got to do is a ball and kick it. You know what I'm saying? And then you get the fundamentals of dribbling and the footwork and all of that with it, man. He showed that Black kids or African-American kids can also play soccer, man. And I think that's why you have Black or African-American goalies in hockey right now as well. So, man, shout outs to Pele, my brother.
Well, I just want to give a quick station break. Thanks for tuning in to TAN TV, the African American Network, where you have a local feel with a global reach. You're watching Out of Bounds with T-Rex and the Noops. Go ahead, Lonnie. I know you got your stuff up there. You got something on your mind. I see you sweating. So what you got on your mind, brother? What you got?
I love that Pele, because that reminds me of my own grandson. My grandson, when you having fun playing, you can become great at doing what you do. And it was so amazing just to see the impact of the Trailblazers that we have named and who's watching them, because you never know when the next one is coming. But the opportunity is not in our position. And we need to continuously realize that eyes are on you.
Yeah, I tell you, it's
very well.
We can talk about Bill Russell.
Yeah, but hold it. Before you get to Bill Russell, because, eyes are on you. I say that because I play golf. I got me a hole in one. But I never would have picked up the game of golf if it hadn't been for two people. One, you might know, his name was Eldridge Tiger Woods. The other was Nathan Morton, a guy that went to my church. And he told me, he said, Lonnell, I wish I had taught you this game early enough, because I would have quit my job probably. As good as I am now, I would have quit my job, beating the dogs out of whoever's in front of me, beating folks to the teeth, because that's one good thing. But Tiger Woods,
I'm not laughing at you.
No.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at your guys. We still show that one.
Everybody thinks about.
You need to come on Bible study sometime and let Jimmy Dukes explain that one to you.
Yes.
Shout out to Jimmy Dukes too, man. But
speaking of golf and Doug, you have played Ted Rhodes golf course numerous times there in Nashville. So Ted Rhodes, what can you tell us a little bit about Ted Rhodes?
Don't know much about Ted. Help me out with Ted.
Okay. I'm just asking. I know Ted was a famous golfer. You look at the most successful Black golfers in history: Tiger Woods, Lee Elder, Ted Rhodes was very famous as well. Calvin Pete, and Harold Varner, I think was his name. But man, Ted Rhodes was a heck of a golfer, man. A famous Black golfer. Google him sometimes and look him up. Just don't play his course. Line out. Know what's up with him.
That's right. I got to research. I got to get down with it.
Yeah, you got to research. And also Godson says Jimmy Duke be thumping you.
The sergeant tells you that. The sergeant tells you that, sir.
All right.
Well, hey, it's all good having great fun, but what do you think sports means to young minority children. That's what I want. Since we talk about sports trailblazers, the next trailblazer that's not out there right now is probably playing high school, pee-wee, something like that sports. What do you think their motivation is other than just to get money?
You know, and I'll start. I'm gonna say, first of all, I'm gonna say I think sports has done a lot to bring racism or bring togetherness among the races, because they got one common goal, man. They want to win. They want to win. You look at, but nowadays, you know, first years when I was in school, they said, man, we got to do something about boosters paying athletes, getting school athletes in trouble and so forth. And now you got NLI money that is just off the chart. Take home girl at LSU. You know, you can't see me. She don't want to come out of college, but she can make more money. She can make more money on NLI money there. But you take these young athletes today, they see that, man. And that's what they're striving for. But one thing we can do, you can get a guy that can sit there and do a crossover around the back, everything like that, but he can't spell cat. So, man, we got to get the fundamentals of education in these young men and young ladies, first of all, because without an education, brother, you can't do nothing. You can't tell a person how to manage your money. You know, you don't know if you're getting took or not. So you got to know the fundamentals and the basics. Go to school. The scholarships is going to afford you a means of education. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. Learn all you can be. Be your own agent.
I got something for you. You know, you said something about education, and if you notice, only a very, very few sports that allow you to come right out of high school. They used to do it in basketball. They never did it in football. I still think they do it in baseball, but they send you to, some of them go to the AAA farm, and I think hockey's still the other one that you can go into. But what I'm saying is, you young kids that's listening, or a parent that's listening, got a young kid that's an athlete. The reason education is important is because his talents will not be seen and maybe not go to the pro if he's playing basketball or football. Now, if he's a hockey player, a baseball player, or a tennis player, it's possible. Or a golf player, it's possible in some sports. And out here in California, they play some sport called pickleball. So I'm pretty sure that'd be in Olympics because the minorities can't dominate it, so it'd be in the Olympics. So, but I'm just thinking that, don't you agree that education, what you said, Henry, don't you agree with Henry and myself that education is the most important thing? If you're going to play sports, you got to have good grades.
Absolutely.
So I just think that it's amazing that there's so many that we didn't talk about. And I want there's a lot. And just because we're speaking of Black athletes does not take the slightest away from white athletes or Latino athletes or anything. The difference between the three really is just the two, the white athlete and the minority athlete, is people will listen to what he has to say as knowledge. And when a non-white athlete speaks up, they want you to shut up and do what you're supposed to do. And they'll break you down anything left. So with that said, gentlemen, we're about to close it up. Give me a 2-minute synopsis of what you got to say before we go. We got to give it in 2 minutes and everybody get a shot. Who wants to go first?
Man, I'm going to go first right now. And I think we had a great topic tonight, but the main thing that's going to take precedence for me is Memorial Day, my guys.
Yes.
And I like to say Semper Fi to the Marines. I like to say fair winds and following seas to the Navy guys, man, and to the Army, man, much ups to you guys, man, because you make it sure that I can sleep well at night, man.
That is so
and
true.
I really appreciate you, my brothers
That is so
and
true.
sisters.
That is so true.
And piggyback on that,
Mr.
man,
Lonnell.
you know, we got one of our own getting ready to go over. Who is that? Was that Fed?
Going back.
Yeah, it's getting ready to go overseas.
Well,
It's
that,
getting ready to go overseas.
a sailor? Rex just went over there, but he works for a contractor.
Oh, he's a
And then
contractor. Okay.
he's a
Yeah, he's a
contractor.
contractor.
He's a contractor.
Okay.
He's in Belgium right now.
Okay.
Right.
So
Spoke to him yesterday.
I definitely want to shout out to all military forces, male and female, young and old, those that have even retired, but mostly the fallen ones. We have to give our own respect to those who are no longer here, the families of those. And, you know, I've heard it over and over again. The veterans that are close to, I think somebody said it was 75,000 veterans that are homeless.
Mhm.
That should not be. And this is another way of recognizing our country is not as who they need to be, who we need to be. You know, they just passed the ceiling debt to make sure that the politics is going to run next year for the elections and all, because now everybody's going to fight over who's going to take the credit. But you know, they're missing the opportunity to provide for those that need to be provided for. So mental health, our veterans, my hat's off to you. And I love this topic, guys. We'll probably piggyback and do something on another twist of this.
Right.
And this is great.
Terry, I want to say one thing before we go, man. You look at these game shows, Wheel of Fortune, Let's Make a Deal, all of that, giving away millions and millions of dollars every day, you know, but we have people sleeping under bridges every day. So where are our priorities, man?
Well,
where are our
I
priorities?
can go deep in that, but we don't have time. I just want to give I just want to say God bless all the fallen heroes for America and other countries. People need to understand that Memorial Day is for the fallen. Veteran Days in November is for the veteran that's alive, that served. And Labor Day is for your labor. So today, which I want to honor, it's really, they celebrate on Monday, but we won't be here on Monday. So I just want to say God bless all the families of fallen soldiers, sailors, and airmen, and Marines. And even the Coast Guard. I'm going to leave them out because they're now part of the military branch. I want to put that out for them. And with that said, I think that I can speak for TAN TV to say that we all appreciate what you do for this country, and that unfortunately you lost your life for this country. And I think that we should all know everybody's name. That should be part of the American history, knowing everybody's name that lost something. So with that being said, I'm going to say thank you for tuning in to TAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with global reach. And this is T-Rex signing out.
Good show,
I think she already signed us out.